Okay, guys, back for part two. Welcome to Defending Elvis. Thank you for joining me. I've got a cold. I've even got a toothache. Whew, God, I'm falling apart. So I did buy my daughter a new car last night, a Vauxhall Corsa. She found it. Um, it drives perfect. You're gonna laugh, guys. It has a very slight oil leak. I knew it. I knew. I said to her, "You can't trust anyone selling cars now, because usually if someone's selling a car, it's because there's something wrong with it. But it is driving perfect with a very small oil leak. Me and cars, we don't get on." So anyway, she's happy. She's got a car. She's like, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with it, Dad. It's just a little oil leak." So looks like we might be back in the garage now. The other car, it's in a garage. I'm just gonna either give it to the sell it to the scrapyard, or I'll get it repaired and I'll sell it. So, oh well, Dad's got it's the bank of Dad, isn't it? The bank of Dad. Dad's like, here we are, ka-ching, ka-ching. I love my kids to bits. She's 19, yeah. Anyway, I've got an interview to play. Dick Grobe, yeah. So he knew Elvis, I think, worked with and knew Elvis for at least 10 years. I'm going to read some of his life. We're learning together. I'm not a researcher. We're learning together. This is part two. Part one, I found really interesting. Me and Team Elvis learning about Dick Grobe and his friendship with Elvis, even speaking to Elvis the day Elvis died. It's fascinating. A fly on the wall inside look what was going on with Elvis, especially concerning his prescription medication, his health problems. Yeah. So I wanted to just do a little quick introductory read. Got myself a nice butter coffee, guys. Come on. Butter coffee. If you want to lose weight, blend butter with an electric blender into your coffee, and it keeps you full all day. You won't be snacking all day. It's how I keep my weight down. Yeah, I think I'm 11 stone 5. I used to be 12 stone 5. Obviously, I'm on carnivore diet. I'm on keto diet. Look up Dr. Ken Berry on YouTube. Dr. Ken Berry. And if you have health problems, want to lose weight, look at Dr. Ken Berry's advice. It's amazing. Saved my life. Yeah. Anyway, so let's get on with it. We're going to learn about Dick Grobe. To be honest with you, I have done a few bits and bobs concerning Dick Grobe. I've heard 99% good things, but there are some negative things out there as well. So we expect it in the Elvis world, in the Elvis community. Most people have a little bit of negative stuff going on. Even the people that loved Elvis, the people that who defend Elvis, and have at some point been negative or done negative things. It just seems to be that's part and parcel of the Elvis world, yeah. But I do find him fascinating. Head of security for Elvis, a policeman in the bomb squad, stuff like that. I'm like, how they met, just it's fascinating. I definitely do think that Dick Grobe loved Elvis. I really do, and misses him. Yeah, I think he died. Was it? I read it here somewhere. He died. Was it 2019? I'm just going to read a few bits. Dick Grobe first met Elvis in 1967, whilst working as a police officer and a bomb squad expert in Palm Springs, California. Elvis owned a home in Palm Springs at the time, often spent long periods of time there. Grobe was initially assigned to help with security matters involving Elvis's property, not as part of the entourage, but in his official law enforcement role. So really, he wasn't Memphis Mafia, was he? Not well. I suppose he was and he wasn't. Yeah. There are some great pictures showing Dick Grobe stood with the Memphis Mafia. Yeah. He had a calm attitude. Elvis liked that. Elvis liked his professionalism and the way he handled things without trying to impress people or interfere. Yeah. Okay. Elvis quickly took a liking to him. After a short period of working together in a professional capacity, Elvis personally asked Grobe to join him as part of his private security. Grobe agreed, and from that point on, he became one of the key security men, eventually rising to chief of security for Elvis Presley. He remained friends with Elvis to the day he died. So it also says, let's have a look, that he spoke to Elvis on the day he died at 1 p.m. and told him he was going. And Elvis told him he was going to rest and read for a bit. And Dick Grobe says he seemed fine. He seemed calm and normal during his conversation. This was the last time personally that he spoke to Elvis. Now that's important, guys, because Elvis is portrayed by some people, by the tabloids, the magazines, the documentaries, the biographies, the news clips, social media stuff, that Elvis was depressed and didn't want to be alive and may have committed suicide and took an overdose. It's all ridiculous. Elvis, the day he died, as Dick Grobe says, was completely normal. Completely normal. As Ginger Alden says, looking forward to the future. Even Donna Presley says he was fine. He was fine the last few years of his life. Yes, of course he was unwell. He was sick, couldn't sleep. He was overworked, stressed. But he wasn't this depressed man lying, crawled up in a little ball waiting to die, considering suicide. This is the bullshit that we have to undo. We have to right the wrongs that have been said about Elvis for the last 40 years by even the people that were closest to him have trashed him. Yeah? So this is our job, guys. This is what defending Elvis is all about. Yeah? So let's have a look. Let's have a look at a few things here. So let's have a look at his early life. Dick Grobe was born in 1943 in Nevada. He joined law enforcement and became part of the Palm Springs Police Department. He had security training in weapons, protective service, which is how he eventually crossed paths with Elvis. Oh, that coffee is so nice. You know when you have a coffee and you just love it? That's one of them. Get yourself a coffee, guys. Don't forget the butter. Around 1967, the local police provided additional security when Elvis was visiting or staying there at Palm Springs. Dick Grobe, being part of law enforcement, was assigned to assist. Elvis liked him immediately. So eventually Dick Grobe becomes part of Elvis's inner circle and obviously head of security. By the early 1970s, Grobe became the chief of security for Elvis Presley. I mean, he does have this way about him. When you look at his interviews and pictures and videos, whatever, he's very proud, serious, yeah? And I like that. I would have liked him, yeah? When I was running my businesses, we had 45 security staff. Obviously, nightclubs, bars. I even had a personal bodyguard. Honestly, guys, when I was a big-time DJ, many years ago, guys, his name was Gary White. He even was the bodyguard of Oasis. Have you heard of Oasis? Liam Gallagher and Noel Gallagher. He was their personal bodyguard. Eventually, he came to work for me. So, long time ago, 1996. Right, the good old days, eh? So, head of security. So he was planning Elvis's security, concerts, travels, public appearances. That was his duties. He was securing Gracelands, protecting Elvis during his tours, and overseeing other bodyguards. So he was overseeing other bodyguards. Does that mean the Memphis Mafia? I wonder. He worked closely with Joe Esposito. What else? Let's have a look. A little bit of information before we're going to play the video that Tony sent me. Thank you, Tony. You know we love you. Yeah? Tony has been so supportive. I love Tony. She's the best. We all loved Tony, don't we? And she's beautiful. She's stunning. So Elvis trusted him deeply. They were close but professional. Elvis often discussed fears of day-to-day matters. You know, come on, Elvis had death threats, didn't he? Yeah. So Dick Grobe says Elvis on the day he died was in a positive mood and planning ahead. They would discuss up-and-coming plans towards security logistics. So, you know, this is what I keep saying, guys. Elvis was looking forward to the future. It's no surprise to me that he was engaged to Ginger Oldham, that they were planning a marriage, a family. Elvis was only 42, guys. Very young, very young. I settled with my wife at 36, yeah? And look what I've got now, 5 children with my wife. And I've been married and I've been with my wife over 20 years, yeah? So Elvis had his whole life in front of him. 42 was very young. I know when Elvis died, and I was a child, many of you were children when Elvis died, 42 sounded really old, didn't it? But it isn't. When you go past 42, you realise how young it is. Because I was listening to Joe Klein. Is it Joe Klein, the guy who interviews everyone that knew Elvis? And I remember him saying he couldn't believe how when he hit 42 years old himself, Joe Klein, he couldn't believe how young that felt. Yeah. And then I think the person he was talking to was, let me just try and remember. Oh yeah, it was Sonny West he was interviewing. And Sonny West said, I'm 58 and I feel 40 type thing. Yeah. So isn't it true though, guys? We can't believe Elvis died so young. Yeah. And it took until we become that age. I remember turning 42 thinking, bloody hell, I'm the age Elvis died and I'm young. Yeah. So it's gutting, isn't it? It's heartbreaking. Elvis had to go so young, you know, gutting. So Dick Grobe was one of the first security men notified when Elvis was found unresponsive. He rushes to the scene. He helped with the securing the area. You could imagine that. There's obviously everything's going crazy. Dick Grobe jumps in and deals with everything. He was involved in handling communications with the crowd. He was directly part of the internal crisis response inside Graceland. Yeah, and I've seen some interviews, quite a few interviews, Dick Grobe discussing this. So he remained close to the Presley family. He assisted with aspects of the funeral and security arrangements, which I've heard about that. He later went on into private work as a personal security assignment. Occasionally gave interviews and appeared at Elvis events. Yeah, and I've seen a few. They're very, very interesting interviews. He wrote a book, Elvis, Safe and Sound, Memories and Insights of the King, Securing Detail, a book defending Elvis and explaining the truth from his perspective. Well, there we are, guys. He does a Defending Elvis book. No surprise, yeah? Elvis, Safe and Sound, Memories of and Insights of the King, Security Detail. He generally defended Elvis' character and argued that Elvis struggled with legitimate medical issues. He did. He did, guys. Look, I am the first to defend Elvis, but I accept there was a problem with prescription medication, abuse of prescription medication. I also fully understand Elvis was very sick, couldn't sleep, was overworked, was in pain, had anxiety, had very serious health problems. Get it? So within the mix, yes, there's a problem of overprescription, maybe even abuse, maybe even Elvis getting medication from other sources, multiple doctors. But the bottom line is, Elvis was a desperate man who was sick, in pain, that needed help, that just wanted to fix himself. But we have to be honest. I won't whitewash everything. Elvis was also probably taking too many. And I mean that in the most respectful way, okay? But one thing I do think, Elvis just wanted to get better. I really believe that. It was never to get stoned or high. He wanted to get better. He wanted to sleep. He wanted more energy. He wanted to get through the day. I really believe that. So then it says that Elvis never took anything for recreational purposes. It was always medical. And that's what Dick Grobe says. Yes, Elvis had serious sleep disorders. He was in serious pain. He had serious digestive issues, glaucoma, which is painful, exhaustion. Of course, he looked exhausted, didn't he, at the end? He looked so exhausted at the end. But remember, through Elvis's life, he looked great. We mustn't judge Elvis on the last 2 years of his life. We must remember that through the main part of his life, 98% of his life, he looked great. Yeah. Hypertension. Someone's trying to ring me. I'm going to tell Rick. Rio, you know I'm live at the moment. What's the matter? Nothing. All right, send it me, yeah? Yeah. All right, I'll read it and I'll get back to you. Bye. So my son's wants to buy. He's trying to get a car, so I'll discuss it after this program. He's very excited, very excitable. I'm going to help him buy a car. So cars are the bane of my life. Right. Let's have a look. So yes, so hypertension, chronic problems with so then he describes he basically says Elvis was bloody sick. He was very unwell, over-treated. Doctors were trying multiple medications. There was a tragic mix of health issues, work pressure, medical mismanagement. This all makes sense. Never about Elvis seeking street drugs. Elvis was no junkie, no druggie. He was not interested in trying to get stoned or off his face. I stand by that, and this is why I'm so upset with this book. It needed to say more about his health problem, why he felt he needed prescription medication, why he turned to his doctors for help, even if he took too many, if there was abuse, even if it was a complicated circumstances. Not enough is said about Elvis being so sick, so unwell, couldn't sleep, in a lot of pain. Get it? Books that just it's convenient to portray him as a junkie who was only interested in finding new women. A very selfish man. So untrue. There was nothing selfish about Elvis, in my opinion. The most unselfish man I've ever known. Just an opinion, guys. So then it says his death was reported. Okay, let's have a look. In summary, he was born in 1943 in Palm Springs. He worked with Elvis for 10 years, being head of security. Okay, well, there we are. That gives us a good understanding of Dick Grobe. I mean, so far, guys, he seems lovely. So I found this old interview. This was sent to me by Tony. Tony's one of us, Team Elvis, yeah? And I'm going to play it. We are going to stop-start. It's not that long, I don't think. 14 minutes. The whole point is to try and understand Elvis's health problem, yeah? Rather than just people just calling him horrible, insulting names. Elvis has been so unfairly portrayed. We want the world to know the true Elvis and to try and understand that Elvis was no junkie. Yeah, I hate even using that word. Okay, so here goes, guys.
The Elvis Truth Files. The lies end here. With Louis Macreadis and Team Elvis.
So I've just spotted 1978, and thank you, Tony, for sending me this. The quality isn't great, okay?
This month marks the first anniversary of the death of Elvis Presley. The past year has been filled with booming sales of Elvis souvenirs, television specials, revived record airplay, and a number of books that claim to reveal the exclusive, true inside story of his life. That is not what we're going to do here tonight, yet we did want to present something appropriate to the public's interest. For more information about the life and death and times of Elvis Presley. So with us tonight are three men who were a part of his work and a part of his lifestyle. They can help put into perspective all the room. I'm not reading well tonight. We're going to have on 3 guys who worked with Presley, and they're going to...
I know how you feel. Sometimes I'm like that. You can't read the words. But we don't have the whole interview. We have really 2 people, but then a little bit of the third person. But I'm interested in the Dick Grobe part of this interview, okay? Even though the quality is very poor, it's very interesting. I love how Dick Grobe defends Elvis, yeah? Remember, this is 1978. This also shows some loyalty with Dick Grobe. He loved Elvis. It's obvious they were good friends.
Tell you about his life, okay? We have with us tonight Mr. Dick Grobe. This is longtime personal bodyguard and supervisor of security at Graceland, his mansion down in Tennessee. Mr. Gerald Peters, who served as Elvis' personal chauffeur for 8 years here in Los Angeles and in Las Vegas. And Mr. Ed Parker, who never was an employee of Elvis's, and you're probably wondering why he's here tonight. The reason he's here is that he was a friend and karate instructor to Elvis Presley for 17 years and the author of a new book called Inside Elvis. So they'll all be joining us tonight in the Now here's Mr. Dick Grobe, who, as I told you at the beginning of the show tonight, is a longtime employee of the Presley family, Elvis Presley. He was chief security advisor and Mr. Presley's personal bodyguard and still works for the family at the Graceland Mansion down in Memphis, Tennessee. How did you meet him?
I was employed as a sergeant in the Palm Springs Police Department, actually, and he came down there and wanted to use the pistol range.
He liked that sort of thing.
He was always very much into law enforcement. He was very pro-law enforcement. He was into shooting and helping out anything that he could do with law enforcement personnel. And that's how I met him, was down in Palm Springs.
When you went to work for him, what did he want you to do for him? I'm skipping the part of the story where you had to get released from the Palm Springs Police Department in the interest of time. But what did he want you to do for him?
My basic job was really to kind of set up liaison between his operation, the production group that moved around and did touring, and the local law enforcement to see that everything went smooth and any problems arose that I could take care of, and to see that security was maintained at a professional level to it.
Now, was this because of the press of the crowds and the excitement and the fact that people naturally want to get as close to a star of his magnitude as possible?
Yes, it was. He was always involved. I mean, had a lot of people coming around him. Had to worry about the crowds, not so much that they would try to do him deliberate harm, but the accidental harm. You know,
I get that. Come on, guys. He was mobbed, yeah? So he had a big job to do with other security people to stop Elvis getting hurt, yeah? They didn't mean to hurt him, but come on, wherever he went, he was, yeah?
People reaching out to touch him, a finger could go in the eye very easily or scratch him. This was a primary concern.
Or was it because he had fears? You know, many prominent people are afraid of being kidnapped, of being harmed in some way, because there are people who are extremely envious of men like Elvis Presley.
Well,
guys, just remind me who the interviewer, what his name is. I've forgotten it. You guys will know.
No, Elvis was not afraid of that. That was not the primary concern. He realized that this was always a possibility, and we took whatever measures we could to prevent it and checked out the various things. But his basic concern was twofold. One, he did not want to get hurt accidentally, which then could stop the show, and he did not want any members of the crowd to get hurt accidentally, even in the...
Do you know what? I get that. I can imagine Elvis worried about his fans. I get it. Totally. Elvis loved his fans.
Show many times from the stage when there would be a big confrontation up front of the stage. He would stop the show and tell the people to be careful, don't get hurt, because he was always concerned for that. And if someone was hurt, we would always try to find out exactly what the nature of the injuries, the extent of them, and report it back to him, because he was concerned about his fans.
Wow, I love that. I love that. Elvis made sure that if anyone was, you know, hurt, basically, in any way, mistreated, unfairly treated, in any way, if any of his fans, he wanted to know all the details, and he would fix the issue. He would help that person.
Surprised were you when he died?
I was extremely surprised. I was shocked.
So this is a big thing for me. Were you surprised that he died? Now, remember, Dick Grobe was with Elvis every day, yeah, for the last 10 years. So people sort of say, oh, you know, it was obvious he was going to die. Look at the way he looked, you know, and many other negative things that are said, yeah. But you speak, no, you listen to Dick Grobe, how he describes Elvis. In no way, not even for a second, do you think Elvis was going to die at 42. He was with him. Even when I listen to things that are said in the Elvis What Happened book, Sonny West, Red West, Dave Hebler, or even in the Memphis Mafia book, Billy Smith, Lamar Fight, Martin Lack, and other interviews I've watched from the Memphis Mafia, even from the Stanleys, Ricky and Dave Stanley, even Dee Stanley has said as well, and even Priscilla. They all give the impression it was obvious Elvis was going to die, yeah? Dick Grobe was with him, worked with him every day. It's a different story. Now, I know that there's other interviews where Dick Grobe says other things, but come on, guys. It wasn't imminent that Elvis was going to die at 42 on August the 16th, yeah? There are many reasons, many complex reasons why Elvis lost his life, whether it be a heart attack or a problem with the side effects of prescription medications. It's complicated, okay? So this is another opinion. Elvis, it was a complete surprise to Dick Grobe, Elvis's head of security and friend, that Elvis died that day.
It was about 3 or 4 days after he died that I really could come down to realizing it, because we had a necessary security problem involved in the funeral. But it just, it took me quite by surprise.
Was he a well man to your knowledge?
So just so you know, guys, I know all about the security problem, but that's for another video, okay? Let's just keep going.
Before he died?
I talked with him that morning about, well, from between about 4 in the morning till about 4:30, just before he went down and played racquetball. He was in very good spirits. He was very healthy, was looking forward to doing the tour that was upcoming. The only problem that he had was the normal jitters that he usually got before any tour, before.
So it's known he got very nervous. But again, I always bring up Ginger Alden. He was looking forward to the tour, guys. He wasn't, like Ginger Alden says, he wasn't crawled up in a ball waiting to die. This is how he's been so unfairly portrayed to the world. He was excited for the future, guys. He was enjoying life. Elvis was doing stuff, keeping busy with Lisa, with Ginger, with other things as well. So, and this adds to that. This confirms the story of others that say, actually, Elvis was pretty upbeat and looking forward to the future. But of course, he was overweight, he was puffy, and I do think he was overprescribed, but he was sick and in pain and couldn't sleep. Get it?
Any concert that he did.
But we read of the fact, we read of the rumor, possibly, that he was concerned about his weight, that he was using pills to keep his weight down, and then he would get too thin, and he was eating more, and then he'd get heavier, and he'd try to lose weight, that he was constantly at odds with fatness.
Okay, do you know what? Quite strong. Every little question within that one sentence, a lot of questions. At least this guy isn't, I don't know his name. Please remind me his name, yeah? He's done quite a few interviews, hasn't he? At least he's not insulting him. He's just sort of saying, you know, what about his weight? What about the types of pills he was taking? Was he taking diet pills? You know, was his weight going up and down? Do you know what I mean? He's more just trying to fish in a respectful way. He's not attacking Elvis and degrading him and insulting him. So let's keep listening.
You know what I'm getting at? The rumors that Presley used a lot of pills, got hooked on drugs and all that stuff.
No, this is totally erroneous.
I like the fact that he says rumors, yeah? And then straight away, Dick Grobe jumps in to defend Elvis and says, this is totally erroneous.
Yes, he did not, was not hooked on any kind of drug. He took drugs under a doctor's prescription, much like you would or I would for a medical problem.
So I want to throw my 2 pence in. and I said this in part 1, this is part 2, guys, so go back and watch part 1. Elvis turned to his doctors for help. What do your doctors do? They give you medication. Some medications have side effects and can be addictive, you know. I'm not saying he was an addict. I'm saying if you gave me painkillers and sleeping tablets and I kept taking them, I'm sure my body would get used to them and would crave them. You get it? But this is prescription medication. The intent is to heal Elvis's body, to soothe his pain, to help him sleep, to sort out his digestive problems, yeah? His glaucoma. See, so there's much more to it. His hypertension
arose. He was concerned about his weight. After all, he was 43, just about the same age
42, but you know.
you are, and you are not the same as you were when you were 21 or 22.
No, sir.
And this bothered him, you know, the changes that go through, and he did develop a problem where he had not necessarily a weight gain.
So look, just on his weight, guys. Come on, Elvis had put on weight, but he wasn't this big fat man. The press, the public have tried to perceive Elvis as this guy binging on burgers who was really overweight most of his life. It is such rubbish. If you look at Elvis's career, all the way through it, right up until he was around 40, he is not overweight at all. He looks great, in fact. Yeah. Yes, the last year or so, he's puffy here, his face is puffy, but his arms and legs are slim. His body is slim. I agree that he's slightly enlarged on his tummy. If you look at the holidays of him with Ginger in Hawaii, you get it? He's not as big as they make out. I could show you some pictures now showing Elvis looking quite slim except for his tummy. I do agree his face had become puffy. So we have to be fair to Elvis. It's unfair to portray him as this big fat guy binging on burgers. It is so unfair. I hate it.
But a water retention problem, which is a medical problem that's not uncommon at that period of time. And for this, he was concerned because he always wanted to look his best for his fans. And that's this total sum of his medical problems, really.
Of all the stories that have come out about this man in the last year, which ones have been the most shocking to you?
The most shocking, there are a number.
I mean, we've gone through sexual stories, drug stories, booze stories.
Well, I think probably some of the stories that have come out about people that were supposedly great friends or lovers of him, that we can find no trace of. Nobody knows him. Nobody in the inner circle, so to speak, has ever heard of him. Not saying that they don't exist or that Elvis maybe did not at one time talk to them, but that's one thing. And some of the other is the capitalization that's gone on about
What do you
him.
think of that? You know, Elvis T-shirts, Elvis this, Elvis that.
Well, a lot of this went on before Elvis died, a certain amount of it. Photographs were for sale, T-shirts for sale, and things like that. Nowadays, they have everything from A to Z for sale. I mean, waste paper baskets, salt shakers, ashtrays, umbrella stands, the whole gamut they've got. Elvis, everything Elvis did was first class. Some of this stuff that's out is not even fourth class. Elvis always was in favor of the small businessman, the ability of people to make good in life, doing things legitimately, honestly, and giving fair value for the money received or taken. And some of it nowadays he would not approve. Others, I'm sure that he would have approved.
Were you pretty close to this man? I mean, did you spend a lot of time with him? Like you said, the day he died, you talked to him for a long time, which would indicate that you and he sit in a room and kind of shoot the breeze once in a while, you know?
I was, in the last 2 years, probably one of 4 or 5 people that he was close to. I spent...
But this is interesting. It's fly on the wall stuff. Now, I know that I've heard he has said things about other people. You know, Dick Grobe. Remember, I'm not a researcher. There's more to this. Yeah. I've heard he said things about Ginger Alden. Yeah. I've heard that he said other things that people are upset with. So we are learning. Yeah. So at this point and other interviews that I've watched, he's very positive about Elvis. But I've heard that the story is more complex. Okay, so let's just keep going and we will learn together. Now, if you guys know things that Dick Grob has said that you're not happy with, please leave it in the comments and we can discuss it.
Many hours talking with him about any number of subjects. And I think in the last year, I was much closer to him than a lot of the other people that had been around. There were other people who were much closer than I, but we did talk about a lot of things together, personal things, his and
Oh, I'd love to know what they were.
mine.
Is it in his book?
Was he, and I don't want for a single second
I don't have his book.
to speak ill of the dead. He wasn't perfect, was he? He was a saint. He liked women.
He was not perfect. He was like every one of us. He was a human being, and too many people have forgotten that. They try to make him out to be some kind of ogre in some of these books, and they do it all for a capitalization type thing.
They do it for cash, for the money. Come on, guys. I've always said, I know Elvis made mistakes. I know he wasn't perfect. He's not God. I don't put him up here. But I won't ignore how good he was, how amazing he was, how kind, generous, loving, caring, sharing. There's so much good to Elvis. Not enough is said about all the good things Elvis did. And he did many of these things privately. Many of the good that Elvis did was he didn't need praise for it. He didn't make a public thing of it. He did it privately. And that, I think that makes it even more special.
I have yet to read anything that has been totally the truth. There's always been some fabrication into it, either to make...
Oh, I love that. I have yet to read anything that has been totally I mean, obviously, this was... I wonder what he thought of this. This was 1985. Obviously, that was 1978. But, guys, I have yet to read anything that was totally the truth. So this book was written before this interview, okay? Let's keep going.
Make it sell better, or some gimmicks.
Can you give me
Oh, I love that. Make it sell better, or some gimmicks. Let's listen to that.
some of these books? And they do it all for a capitalization type thing. I have yet to...
Hang on,
I don't want for a single second to speak ill of the dead. He wasn't perfect, was he? He was a saint. He liked women.
He was not perfect. He was like every one of us. He was a human being, and too many people have forgotten that. They try to make him out to be some kind of ogre in some of these books, and they do it all for a capitalization type thing. I have yet to read anything that has been totally the truth. There's always been some fabrication into it, either to make it sell better or some gimmicks.
Can you give me an example of that?
There's a couple of books out now about people who have said that Elvis was on a great deal of drugs. The record shows that the drugs that he was on were given to him by a doctor, a physician, under medical supervision. And I spent a number of years in law enforcement, and part of my law enforcement training, I headed up a narcotics detail. Elvis was not an addict. He took pills for medical reasons. I would be a fool to sit here and say that Elvis did not take a sleeping pill. He did, but he also had a very long history of insomnia. And he took his sleeping pills, but again, these were all prescribed to him by a medical doctor. I never...
Doesn't that say it all? The last 10 seconds, 15, 20 seconds, doesn't that just say it all? I'm not going to add to that. That was perfect. I'm going to play it again. I'm not going to add to it.
And I spent a number of years in law enforcement, and part of my law enforcement training, I headed up a narcotics detail. Elvis was not an addict. He took pills for medical reasons. I would be a fool to sit here and say that Elvis did not take a sleeping pill. He did, but he also had a very long history of insomnia. And he took his sleeping pills, but again, these were all prescribed to him by a medical doctor. I never once saw him with any marijuana. I never once saw him with any pills that were not labeled on the bottle. I never once saw him with any heroin or any hard drug. It's just not there. That's one of the things that I think people are doing him an injustice. That's
There we go, guys. They're doing him an injustice. Yeah. So many books. Even people that were close to Elvis, friends, family, this and ex-wife, and it's gutting, isn't it? That the people closest to Elvis hurt him the most, betrayed him the most, backstabbed him the most. It's upsetting. Yeah. Of course, I accept that the prescription medication was a real problem. Yeah. I won't whitewash Elvis. I won't paint him out as an angel, a perfect person. But everything has been exaggerated and twisted to make more money, to sell more books, to get more views on TV. Get it? More to sell more tabloids, to make it more shocking in a National Enquirer type journalist story. Yeah. So, and all at the expense of Elvis's image and reputation that take away his dignity. This is why Lisa Marie was so upset. A lot of these things went on whilst Lisa Marie was with us. So pretty shocking, guys. But, you know, I've still more to learn about Dick Grobe, because I have a feeling that he has also said things that we may not be happy with. But up to now, listening to this is music to my ears. Music to my ears. This is what needs to be heard.
a gimmick. It sells books.
Yep.
People buy it. The publishers, I don't think, nowadays really want to print the truth.
The publishers don't really want to print the truth. Don't forget, you know, these three guys basically say the publishers and Steve Dunleavy exaggerated everything and focused on all of the negatives and twisted the truth to sell more copies. So, okay.
I've been approached to write a book. I could not write a definitive book on Elvis myself. It would take 15 or 20 of the close people to write the, quote, definitive version of Elvis Presley. I may be able to write a book on a short facet of his life.
His security concerts,
Right,
little things that happen.
Which I think he did. Let me just ask ChatGPT. Just have a look. Let's have a look, guy. Let's bring ChatGPT into it. Did Dick Grobe write a book? What was it called? Did he talk about Ginger Alden? Let's just see what comes up. I mean, I love ChatGPT. It's a quick way of getting information. So it says the book was called Elvis Safe and Sound. The full title is Elvis Safe and Sound: Memories of a Bodyguard. It was released years after Elvis passed, and it's considered one of the more factual, professional, respectful accounts. It says here that he was trying to protect Elvis from stalkers, from break-ins, from unsafe situations. That he discusses Elvis's medical appointments, security arrangements, and lifestyle. It's not a gossip book. He does talk about Ginger Oldham. He had to secure her jewelry. He refers to their engagement ring. He discusses Ginger's presence at Graceland's, the security arrangements of the final months. He discusses Elvis's plans with Ginger Alden for the future. And it actually says here that he does not attack Ginger in any way. Have any of you read the book? Please leave it in the comments. Obviously, Elvis and Ginger were engaged. Anyway, that was just a quick snippet. Anyway,
Close calls.
But the publishers don't want to write about the truth. They want a gimmick. You've got to have something, some scandalous thing to throw out.
They want dirt, is what.
and I believe that. Yeah, you know, whether it be tabloids or magazines or documentaries, biographies, books, of course. That what's the hook? This is very much a thing of the 80s and 90s. Yeah, what's the hook? What's gonna make it very dramatic? what's going to sensationalize it so the whole world wants to buy it, so that it sells millions of copies. And this is what happened, I think, with books like Elvis. What happened, even with, come on, let's face it, guys, there's some pretty ridiculous things in this book. Even that Elvis faked his death. The point I'm trying to say is that there was an opportunity for many of these people, whether it's the Smiths or the Stanleys or Priscilla or the Memphis Mafia, to make big money. You get it? So the publishers are arm twisting, pushing these people by offering large amounts of money, even fame, because let's face it, these people got fame, didn't they? 15 minutes of fame, pushing their books, doing the documentaries, doing the biographies, doing the tabloids. These things went round the world, selling millions of copies. So the problem is, at the expense of Elvis's reputation and image being twisted and damaged, I really believe that all of these things that went on from the late 70s, even to today, have been so unfair to Elvis. And the problem is, once Elvis died, he couldn't defend himself. He's never been able to challenge these people. Even Lisa struggled with what to say, how to say it, to stand up for her father. But she was a #1 defender, but she could only do so much, so I just feel sorry for Elvis that he was let down by so many people that were close to him. And then people try to conveniently forget it. I don't think that's good enough. I think at the very least, what we can do as a Defending Elvis channel is try and correct things, try and put wrongs to rights. Try and do it as fans, as an Defending Elvis movement, Defending Elvis, Team Elvis, Elvis Defenders, coming together 7 days a week to just try and correct things, ready for future fans. Remember, there's new fans every day. We want them to know that there's more to it. Elvis wasn't just this junkie that was the size of a giant. You get it? Binging on burgers. We need to let the world know the true Elvis. And this is why I was so proud of Donna Presley and even Ginger Alden. Because Ginger Alden, since she brought her book out, has always tried to defend Elvis and has always challenged what these people in the past have been saying in books and tabloids, that it's unfair how he's been portrayed, and that she shows us that he was looking forward to the future. There was hope. He was getting ready for a new life, a new family, a new tour, a new beginning, even new movies, new music, new songs. Elvis was excited for the future, but yes, he also had serious health problems. I agree he was probably overprescribed as well. There was abuse of prescription medication. I accept that. Elvis wasn't perfect. He was a human being. Yeah, of course there were side effects to the prescription medications. I understand that. Haven't we all been there at some point in our life where we're taking something that is supposed to be good for us, that our doctors have given us, that it's just doing more harm than good? Haven't we all been there? All of us? Many of us in our 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s and 80s. Come on, guys. Elvis was human. He was no different. So we do our bit. We do our bit. Team Elvis, we do our bit to just try and clear out the smoke so that the fans of the future will learn the true Elvis, Elvis the true man. This is what Donna Presley is doing with her amazing YouTube channel, Donna Presley Official, and her Facebook page. She's defending her cousin Elvis. She's defending her life with the Presleys at Gracelands, at Circle G Ranch. You get it? She's only doing good. There is nothing negative about what Donna Presley is doing. She's standing up for her family, her blood relatives. So I'm so proud of Donna Presley.
They want Dick.
And Ginger Alden, because she is another one that is trying to clear things up so that the world see the true Elvis.
They want smut,
That's right.
dirt. They want to get the goods on all of us nice people, and I'm sick of it.
They think the American public is a bunch of dummies, that American public cannot believe the truth.
And I don't want to sound insulting, but we have all been very gullible, haven't we? Not just the American public, the public around the world in every country. We all fell for it. We all fell for it, guys. Didn't we? We all went along with it. Even with the fake fairy tale marriage with Priscilla. We're now discovering, or we have been discovering, that we haven't been told the truth. Everything has been changed to suit Priscilla, to portray herself as a victim. Look at what I went through. Elvis is the bad guy. I did nothing wrong. When we are now finding out Priscilla did many things wrong, also unfaithful. Get it? So the public have been gullible. We got drawn into this fake fairy tale of this beautiful wedding and romance with Elvis and Priscilla. But the truth is, their marriage was tragic. Serious wrongdoing in that marriage. Yeah. And from both, not just from Elvis, from both. They were both unfaithful. But Priscilla will portray everything as if everything was Elvis's fault and nothing was her fault. Priscilla never takes responsibility for her wrongdoing, ever. She has never apologized for her wrongdoing to Elvis or to Lisa Marie Presley. Shocking.
None of this stuff that's out has ever heard Elvis. It hasn't tarnished his image one bit, because the fans, they'll read it, they'll buy it because it's got Elvis's name on it.
Let me jump in there. I do agree that his legendary status and his, obviously, his talent, his music, his movies, all the rest of it, that doesn't need defending. He's going to be around in 1,000 years. But Elvis, the true man, the true human being, he needs defending massively. And Lisa Marie tried her best to defend her father.
We had books sent in to us at Graceland, burned, with just the cover of the book there, to let us know, so the fans let us know what they thought of the book.
I have to pause here for some announcements, and joining us will be two men that...
Okay, guys, that's the end of it. I found that fascinating. Very, very interesting. I know that there's more to the story with Dick Grobe, so please put it in the comments. I'm not a researcher. I'm still learning. So please let me know the whole story. But I like that. I feel that Dick Grobe, through most of that very old 1978 interview, defends Elvis. Shows the world the true Elvis. Also challenges the publishers, the people that even family members, close friends, ex-wife, you name it. He basically says everything was twisted and exaggerated and sensationalized to make money, to sell more books, to get more views on TV, to sell more tabloids. You get it? It's all cash grab, cash grab. People were offered very large amounts of money to turn on Elvis, to betray him, to backstab him. It's the truth. Even family, even the people closest to Elvis, even Memphis Mafia. So I won't accept that it's just forgotten about and buried in the sand. We must discuss it. We must defend Elvis. We want the world to know the true Elvis, to understand things have been warped and twisted unfairly, and Elvis has never been able to defend himself because he's not with us. And now Lisa's not with us. A lot of the damage that was done whilst Lisa was alive. This is why we are very needed. Our role, defending Elvis Presley, is very important. But we're trying to find a way where we're more respectful, more understanding, and we're trying to defend with a forgiving heart. So it's a hard balance, guys, because we are passionate, we're upset, we have, very strong views about Elvis's unfair treatment, haven't we? Yeah. So we will find a way to show the world Elvis was a great person and has been so unfairly treated. Take care, guys. Love you all. This was fascinating. The next thing I'm going to do is do a dog walk. And at some point, I want to discuss and show off Elaine's visit to Memphis. That I keep putting it off because I've got no time. But we are going to go through Elaine's visit to Memphis, to Tupelo, to Gracelands. She sent me loads of pictures and videos and clips. I really want to honor Elaine. Elaine is Team Elvis. We love Elaine. She had the time of her life. It was a 10-day holiday, and I need to get around to doing that. But we are going to be picking some pretty serious topics most days now. I'm trying to not just talk about Priscilla, just we need to get onto some new topics. Okay, it's very important, guys. We can't just keep repeating the same topics. I don't think it's good for us. Take care, guys. Love you all. You're the best. Team Elvis, you rock.